Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. If you're feeling down, weighed by the burdens of life, or just need a moment of peace, you've come to the right place. Let's take a journey through the timeless teachings of ancient wisdom to find solace and strength. Life has always been a complex journey. Across the ages, many cultures have faced adversity and sought wisdom. Today, we delve into the thoughts and philosophies of the ancients to gain insight and comfort. Socrates and the power of self-inquiry. Let us start in ancient Greece with Socrates. One day, a young man named Glaucon approached Socrates, troubled by his circumstances. Socrates, known for his method of questioning, asked, "What is bothering you, my young friend?" Glaucon explained his worries. The pressures of work, the expectations of society, and his own doubts. Socrates suggested they walk together through the streets of Athens. As they walked, he asked Glaucon a series of questions. What do you truly value? What is within your control? What can you let go of? Through this dialogue, Glaucon began to see his problems from a different perspective. He realized that many of his worries were self-imposed, and that he had the power to change his mindset. Socrates often used the analogy of life as a ship. He asked, "Would you allow a random person to steer your ship in a storm?" Glaucon replied, "Of course not." Socrates nodded. "Then why would you let random thoughts steer your life?" This profound lesson helped Glaucon understand the importance of self-inquiry and control over one's own thoughts. Socrates taught us the importance of self-inquiry. When we feel down, asking ourselves meaningful questions can lead to profound insights. What's troubling you? Is it within your control? Accepting what we can and cannot change is the first step to finding peace. Let's journey to ancient China to learn from Lao Tzu, the father of Taoism. Lao Tzu often observed nature, finding wisdom in its simplicity and flow. One day, while watching a river flow effortlessly around rocks and obstacles, he remarked to his disciples, "Water is fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. What is soft is strong." There's another story of Lao Tzu and an oak tree. The oak tree, strong and proud, mocked the flexibility of a bamboo nearby. Yet, when a storm came, the rigid oak was uprooted while the pliant bamboo bent with the wind, surviving the storm. Lao Tzu taught that just like nature, we should be flexible and adapt to life's changes. Lao Tzu emphasized living in harmony with nature and the flow of life. He wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things. Compassion and flexibility are the hallmarks of strength." These reflections on nature's adaptability teach us that we too should flow with life's challenges rather than resist them. There's another story of a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbor said, "Such bad luck." The farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned with 2 other wild horses. "Such good luck," the neighbor said. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The following day, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, was thrown off and broke his leg. "Such bad luck," the neighbor said. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next day, soldiers came to the village to draft young men, but the farmer's son was exempt because of his broken leg. "Such good luck," the neighbor said. "Maybe," the farmer replied. This story emphasizes the Taoist belief in accepting the ebb and flow of life without rushing to judgment about events. Life is a series of natural changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Embrace the present moment, let go of the past and future, and find peace in the now. The Buddha and letting go of suffering. In India, we hear the story of a young prince named Siddhartha, who would become the Buddha. Troubled by the suffering he saw in the world, he renounced his royal life to seek enlightenment. He tried extreme asceticism, hoping to find the truth, but when that led only to more suffering, he turned to meditation. Under the Bodhi tree, after years of searching, he found his answer. Suffering is inherent to life, but we need not be defined by it. He taught the Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering. Suffering is caused by attachment. There is a way to end suffering, and the way is the Eightfold Path. There's a story of two monks travelling together. At a river, they saw a woman struggling to cross. One monk carried her across, and hours later the second monk, still disturbed, asked, "Why did you carry her?" The first monk replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" The Buddha's teachings remind us to let go of attachments and not to carry past burdens. Another story tells of a woman named Kisa Gotami, who was devastated by the death of her only son. In her grief, she approached the Buddha, seeking a way to bring her son back to life. The Buddha told her to bring him a mustard seed from a household that had not experienced death. Despite her efforts, she could not find such a household. This teaching helped her understand that suffering and death are a universal part of life. Kisa Gotami found peace in acceptance and letting go. By practicing mindfulness and letting go of attachments, we can reduce our suffering. Focus on your breath, observe your thoughts without judgment, and allow yourself to just be. Japanese wisdom and embracing imperfection. In Japan, the concept of wabi-sabi teaches us to find beauty in imperfection and to embrace the natural cycle of growth and decay. There's a tale of a tea master, Sen no Rikyu, and his apprentice. One day, the apprentice carefully cleaned the garden, arranging everything perfectly. But Rikyu, dissatisfied, shook the cherry tree, scattering petals everywhere. "Now it is beautiful," he said. Japanese wisdom often emphasizes the beauty of impermanence and imperfection. The ancient practice of kintsugi involves repairing broken pottery with gold, celebrating the cracks instead of hiding them. Each repaired piece is unique and more beautiful for having been broken. There's also the poignant story of Yamamoto Tsunetomo, a samurai who lived during a time when the warrior's role was becoming obsolete. He wrote the Hagakure, a collection of thoughts on living life fully and accepting one's fate with grace. Tsunetomo emphasized that imperfection and impermanence are inherent parts of life, and that true beauty lies in acknowledging and embracing these truths. Another story is that of Matsuo Basho, a famous haiku poet who found profound beauty in everyday moments. One of his haikus goes, "An old pond, a frog jumps in, the sound of water." This simplicity captures the essence of finding beauty in the mundane. Basho's journey was also marked by imperfection and resilience. Despite facing many personal losses, he channeled his hardships into his poetry, finding solace in nature and the fleeting moments of life. When you're feeling down, remember that it's okay to be imperfect. Every flaw and challenge is part of the larger tapestry of life. Embrace your own imperfections and find ease in them. Ancient Egyptian teachings on inner strength. The ancient Egyptians believed in the power of the inner self. They taught that true strength comes from within and that each person has an inner light. There's a story about the goddess Ma'at, who weighed the hearts of the deceased against a feather. Only those whose hearts were light with goodness could pass on. One famous Egyptian story is that of Osiris, who was betrayed by his brother Set and torn apart. His wife Isis painstakingly gathered the pieces and, with the help of her magic, reassembled him and brought him back to life. This story symbolizes inner transformation and the eternal nature of the soul. It teaches us that even in our darkest times, we have the power to rise again. One famous Egyptian story is that of Osiris, who was betrayed by his brother Set and torn apart. His wife Isis painstakingly gathered the pieces and, with the help of her magic, reassembled him and brought him back to life. This story symbolizes inner transformation and the eternal nature of the soul. It teaches us that even in our darkest times, we have the power to rise again. Another powerful story from ancient Egypt is that of Hatshepsut, a female pharaoh. Despite facing resistance from those who thought a woman should not rule, Hatshepsut led Egypt through a period of great prosperity and peace. Her reign is a testament to the inner strength and determination she possessed to overcome societal limitations and govern effectively. Hinduism and the eternal guardianship. Hinduism teaches that we are part of an eternal cycle, with each life phase bringing its own challenges and joys. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, a warrior in the epic Mahabharata, was paralyzed by doubt and sorrow on the battlefield. Despondent and confused, he refused to fight. Lord Krishna, his charioteer, offered him wisdom and guidance. Krishna told Arjuna, "The soul is neither born nor does it die. It is eternal and everlasting. Your duty is to fight, not because you desire the fruits of your actions, but because it is your duty." This profound teaching reminds us that tough times are temporary and that the universe is always in flux. Our souls endure beyond the current struggles. A tale from the same epic is about the righteous king Yudhishthira, who, despite all his losses and suffering, never wavered from his duty and righteousness. This adherence to dharma, duty, brought him peace and ultimate victory. Another inspirational figure is that of Mahatma Gandhi, whose adherence to the principles of non-violence and truth, deeply rooted in Hindu philosophy, led India to independence. Despite immense hardships and opposition, Gandhi's inner strength and unwavering commitment to his values brought about profound change. Remember that tough times are temporary and that the universe is always in a state of flux. Your spirit is resilient and will find balance again. Focus on your duty, not the outcome, and trust the eternal guardianship of the cosmos. Stoicism and the serenity of acceptance. Transitioning to ancient Rome, we find wisdom in Stoicism. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively on overcoming hardship. There's a story where he consoled himself during exile by reminding himself, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, would write his reflections in what we now call meditations. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." During his reign, Rome faced plagues, invasions and betrayal. Yet he found solace in philosophy, focusing on his duty and maintaining inner tranquility. Another Stoic, Epictetus, was born a slave, but became a renowned teacher. He taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions. He once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." There's also the story of Cato the Younger, who stood steadfastly against Julius Caesar's rise to power. Despite overwhelming odds and eventual defeat, Cato's commitment to his principles and his unyielding spirit inspired later generations to stand up for justice and liberty. Stoicism teaches us to maintain a calm and rational mind, even in the face of adversity. Practice the art of acceptance, focus on what you can control, and let go of what you cannot. As we draw our journey to a close, let's reflect on the practical advice these ancient wisdoms have offered us. From self-inquiry to mindfulness, from acceptance to embracing imperfection, these timeless teachings provide a blueprint for navigating life's challenges. Let's take a moment to summarize, question deeply like Socrates, to understand the root of your troubles. Be as flexible as Lao Tzu's water, flowing around obstacles. Practice mindfulness and let go of past burdens as taught by Buddha. Find beauty in imperfection like the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi. Draw strength from within, following the ancient Egyptians' belief in inner light. Focus on your duty and trust in the eternal cycle, inspired by Hinduism. Accept and control your mind as the Stoics advised. These stories and teachings remind us that adversity is a part of life. but within us lies the wisdom and strength to navigate it. Reflect on these lessons, find peace in their timeless truths, and let their wisdom guide you through difficult times. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found solace in these teachings, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might need it. Stay connected with ancient wisdom for more timeless insights. Remember, you're never alone. Until next time, peace and light.